Hello everyone who's signing on. We're gonna get just a few minutes to get everything situated, make sure the stream is going well, make sure everybody has time to get logged in and situated, all of that good stuff. So as the title says, it's gonna be 75 minutes. We're gonna work towards handstands. Again, just an option. You don't have to actually go to handstands. In fact, some of these prep exercises are great ways to preface your handstand. So if it's a little scary to begin with, we have ways that you can get that strength without even having to get your feet off the ground. So a lot of options today. So go ahead and find somewhere comfortable while we wait these next few minutes out. Get about 5 minutes or so before we get started. So if you want to find a comfortable seat, maybe a meditative posture, maybe child's pose or lying on your back, get about 5 minutes before we start. Thank you so much for joining. If you're already here, again, my name is Jeremy. Alright, great. Looks like we have everything going well on the site. So while we continue to wait for people to show up, kind of go over what I've been going through this past week or so with my practice. So I've been working a lot more into muscle tightness than I would normally. And I believe part of that's due to not having the studio access like I normally would. So normally the heat that are in the studios are able to warm up the muscles, stretch them out a little bit easier. And here, even though I have the heater on, it's not quite the same. The infrared heaters really make a world of difference. So I'm dealing with a little more tightness of muscles, but I've also learned through that I have to take myself a little bit slower. So rather than pushing through like I normally want to and just going right into some jumps and a lot of big movements, I've been slowing down, breathing slower, and taking things even slower than I normally do. Normally I'm the yogi who's a move and a half behind class, just because I like to really full up into my breath, take that into account as I'm going. So if you're already dealing with that, we're in the same boat, we're in it together. So slow it down today. Take everything at your own pace, most importantly. Even if I'm queuing up a storm, breathe, just chill, make this about you. For props today, if you want, I have 2 blocks. I always keep them with me just because, I don't know, more like a safety blanket. Anytime the ground feels a little far away, sometimes I can feel like it's at the beginning of class. Like I need these stairs to start off with, and oftentimes it'll be the middle of class before I'm like, hey, I could actually use a little bit more lift from the ground than my body's actually supplying me. So if you have blocks, grab them. You can use a book, you can use rolled up blanket, rolled up towel. Those can also be something that you can squeeze onto or press into the ground away with. So something supportive. Get that along with you. And we'll go ahead and start today in child's pose. And again, still about 2 minutes before official start time. We'll take this as a nice, slow, decadent child's pose. Begin with your knees either wide apart. It's going to help stretch out your inner thighs, or maybe take them closer together. That'll stretch out more of your low back. Walk your hands forward and allow yourself to get compressed on the mat. And right away, notice what you're feeling. Tension in your joints, tension in your low back, or maybe pulling in the actual belly, the middle of your muscles. If you're feeling this more in your joints, rather than having a more compressed posture, come up out of it. And if that means taking a block or blanket underneath your hips or underneath your sit bones, take that. Decrease the angle of your joints and the pressure that the angle of those joints bring, and then see what kind of space that offers you up. Close your eyes if they're not already. Observe the rhythm of your breath. This ebb and flow that you're creating without even having to try. No need to control it. Just watch the breath as it enters. See what it stirs up, see what it lifts, and then follow it all the way back out. And start to follow your breath from your chest, from your torso, and begin to fill up your low back all the way so that you start to stretch out your hip flexors, maybe through your glutes. But now begin to control your breath. And like you're filling up a hot air balloon, how expansive can you get it on your inhales? And then how fully can you exhale and empty? And then take 4 rounds of breath, controlling it as long as you can breathe in and as long as you can breathe out. And 3 more. Allow your hands to extend a little further from you if you've already found space. And last full round of breath. And your next inhale, if you haven't already, seal your lips. And then exhale through your nose for Ujjayi breathing. And work to keep this in your entire class. In through your nose. And out through your nose. And from here, lift your forehead off the ground. Walk your fingertips forward till your arms lift up. And then walk them over towards the right. So we'll get a little side body stretch. Your right side body can be on top of your right thigh. Just make sure that your left sit bone either stays connected to the ground or to the block. Whatever you have underneath your seat, make sure your left sit bone touches it. And then press through your hands and then breathe space into your left ribs. Inhale and exhale. And one more on this side. And then inhale, come up to a lift. Walk your hands back to center. Exhale, lower down. Get a full round of breath back in child's pose, neutral position. And inhale to lift up. Walk your hands towards the left. We'll even it out. And relax down when you feel pressure, resistance on your right side, and then take 4 rounds of breath into it. Pressure right palm flat so you get more extension, more engagement to stretch. Last breath. And inhale back through center. Full round of breath in your neutral child's pose. Alright, shift forward to a tabletop. If you have a block or prop, move it out of the way. We won't need it for a little bit. Alright, so for tabletop, wrist underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips, spread your fingers wide, and then start to grip your finger pads into the ground. You may feel your knuckles lift up. That's okay. You may even feel the palms of your hands start to want to lift up. Feel this gripping so much through your fingers. And then start to spin the inside of your elbows forward. So your biceps shine to the front of the room. Keep spinning them forward. Keep trying to turn your thumbs towards the middle and upper part of your mat. It's like you're opening up 2 mason jars. Take a full breath. Stay for one more inhale, twisted. And then on your exhale, spin your elbows forward. So your elbow points will come to the front of the room, and the eye of your elbow will point backwards. Triceps shine forward for a full round of breath. And then faster than breath to movement, begin to rotate through your wrist and forearms to the middle and to the outside of your mat. And keep these wrist rotations going through. And again, a little faster than breath to movement. If through your movements you find some popping, or if you have to maneuver a lot to get over a certain point, try to slow it down and get familiar with what's resisting you. And then maybe that slow, methodical movement is what can floss out any of that tension. Just here for 3. For 2. Last one. All right. Now in as many turns as possible, I want you to lift your left hand, slightly turn it towards the left, as if you're rotating your thumbs towards the outside of your mat. And then slow and control. Keep your wrist stacked right underneath your shoulders. Begin turning your thumbs out. Until finally, your thumbs point out, your fingers point toward your knees. Spread your fingers wide. You can grip them down into the ground, so you may feel some resistance in your forearms. And then on your exhale, sit your sit bones back to stretch your forearms. Take a full breath here, getting a stretch. And then inhale, shift forward, so you relieve the stretch. And then exhale, shift back. And then just like before, a little faster than breath to movement. Begin to floss out any stagnant energy in your arms. And if this already feels intense, you can lessen the intensity by moving your hands a little closer towards you. You can shift a little further back. If you want a little more intense, move your hands a little further forward. You're just here for 3. For 2. Last one, and then just as slow as you entered, begin turning your hands back towards the front of your mat. Again, wrists stay underneath your shoulders. All the way forward. And then come to stand on your shins. Take your hands and then start to make firework hands. Flick out some water. Here for 4, 3, 2. Last one. Give it a shake. And then only when you're ready, put some weight back on your hands. From here, tuck your toes. Press your hips up and back for down dog. Alright, so any of that energy that you're feeling through your arms that you just woken up, that you just stretched out, begin to use that to get a little more powerful through your hands. So just like before, claw your fingers into the mat, maybe feel your knuckles lift, but evenly distribute your weight. Once you have that, press your hands down. Use that to drive your hips up and back. Rotate your shoulders, or rather your biceps forward, so that same motion that you had when you were in tabletop, so that your triceps start to wrap in towards your ears. Today for your mountain pose, or rather for your down dog transitions towards mountain, I want you to take them nice and slow, and we're going to work on the stack of your shoulders and your hips so that once you begin to get into a handstand, it'll feel more familiar. Take 3 more rounds of breath and you're down dog done. And if that means movement, take movement. If you want to hold stillness and just power your mat, hands and feet in opposite directions, feel free to stay. Last full breath. Alright, draw your belly up and in. On an inhale, shift forward to a high plank. So stack your wrist over your shoulders, just as much as before. Grip your finger pads into the ground. Press the ground away so your shoulders start to extend. And notice that your shoulders can be up towards your ears. I want you to press the ground away so your shoulders extend, and then grow your ears forward away from your shoulders. You're creating as much length as you can. Shoulders stay stacked. Start to walk your feet forward and lift your hips at the same time. So each step forward, almost like this baby giraffe. Walk forward, lift your tiptoes, shoulders stay stacked the entire time. And when you feel resisted, I want you to keep high up on your tiptoes. All of your weight's in your hands, your palms are flat. Breathe here for 3. Belly in tight. For 2. Last one. Bend your knees, lower your heels to the ground, and then fold over your legs. Turn your palms face up so that your back of your hands are on the ground. And then grip your hands, turn them into claws. So squeeze in. Inhale, open them back up. Exhale, squeeze in. Turn your hands to claws. We'll do that as you hold here in your forward fold. So breathe space into your belly, into your legs, and into your low back. As you open and close your palms and floss out any tension that was just there. Just here for 3 breaths. All right. Bring your hands to the ground flat, and then slide them up your legs as you bend your knees and inhale all the way up to standing. Super, super slow. Once you get to the top, let's work out through your shoulders. So draw your shoulders up to your ears on an inhale. Exhale, pull them back and then drop them down. And do that twice more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back and down. One more in. Exhale, back and down. All right, breathe in, reach up to mountain pose. All right, so I hope you can see all the way up, at least to the top of my head, but definitely towards my arms. I want you to take a straight arm back bend in mountain pose today. So your standard mountain pose, squeeze your thighs together, tuck your tailbone forward so your hip points lift, draw your belly button down and your lower rib cage down. So everything in your belly is tight, and then stretch your elbows up away from that tightness. Now keep your belly drawn in, and then reach your thumbs to the back of the mat. Keep your belly drawn in. Your ribs are going to try to flare. Hold them in tight. Resist this. And then rather than just finding a back bend, find length up and backwards. But mostly important is focusing on the reach up. You're here for 2 more rounds of breath. You can grow your fingertips up away from your arms, elbows up away from your heart. Next inhale, back to mountain pose, straighten. Exhale, Samastahiti, hands to your heart. Now take a second to breathe into the energy that you just created in that shape. Each time we get to mountain pose, we'll take that into a straight arm back bend. Not only will you find your space, but you'll also find this familiar shape with going upside down, this plank shape that you're making with your entire body. Take a full round of breath. All right, let's flow it out, yogis. Open your eyes. On an inhale, reach up to a mountain pose. On your exhale, back bend. Squeeze your glutes. Draw your belly in. Reach your thumbs back. Inhale, back up to mountain. Take a bend in your legs. On your exhale, forward fold. Hinge at your hips. So take it slow to start. Again, you may want to block if the ground feels far away. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, fold, plant your hands, and then step back to a high plank. Shift forward. So again, feel the stretch of your forearms. This should feel a little resistance in the back of your forearms. Hold here for 3. You press the ground away, grip through your fingers for 2. Last 1, and then on your exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. We'll start it off slow into a cobra pose. We're going to hold this first one for time. Flip to the tops of your feet. Before you lift your chest, I want you to press the tops of your feet down. Press until your kneecaps lift, until your quads turn on and lift. Draw your belly up and in, and press your hip bones into the ground. So everything in your lower half is engaged. Then inhale, lift your chest. Keep your hands on the ground for the moment. Squeeze your shoulders together. Make grasshopper shapes with legs with your arms, and then press your hands back. So you pull your rib cage physically away from your hip bone. Last round of breath, maybe lift your hands. And your exhale, release one ear to the ground. Take your arms alongside your hips, and then wiggle them left and right until you feel release in your low back. Bring your chin back to center when you're ready to move. Hands under your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Inhale to a high plank. One straight line up. Exhale to down dog. Hips up and back. 3 rounds of breath in down dog. For 2. Last full breath. All right, yogis, let's speed it up just a bit. Next inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop forward, top of your mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to mountain pose. Reach up, get long. Exhale, straight arm back bend. Make this concave shape with your chest. Inhale back to mountain, bend your legs. Exhale, forward fold, flat spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. You can keep cobra, or we're going to switch it up to chaturanga if you're ready. Inhale, shift forward, that same movement of shoulders past your wrist. On your exhale, lower halfway chaturanga. Elbows stay underneath or above your wrist. On your inhale to upward facing dog. Pause here. Squeeze your thighs together. Squeeze your glutes together. Press the tops of your feet down. Press your palms down. Get lifted as much as you can from every point of contact. Full breath in. Stay for your breath out. One more inhale. Down dog on your exhale. Either roll up and over your toes or press yourself back in your way to down dog. 2 breaths. One more in. And out. Let's take that fun transition. Inhale, shift forward to a high plank. Again, shoulders stay over your wrist. Slow as you can. Walk your feet one at a time. Lift your hips. Shoulders stay stacked for 3. For 2. 1, make it to the top of your mat. All your weight's on your palms. You're here for 3. Maybe lift up 1 foot. For 2, left 1, lift your other foot. Last full breath. Fold. Plant your feet, fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale to mountain pose. Exhale, straight arm back bend, get long. Inhale, reach back up, bend your legs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift a little quicker. Exhale, chaturanga, plant your hands, shift forward, lower halfway down. Inhale to upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time 1 breath in. 1 breath out. Shift forward to high plank, inhale. Exhale, step your feet forward, slow, lift your hips, slow transition. Again, once you get to the top, last time you're here for 3 rounds of breath. Press the ground away. For 2, draw your belly up and in, lift your hips. Last 1, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale to mountain pose, last time. Exhale, straight arm back bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Hold here. All right, plant your left hand under your face, maybe under a block. On an inhale, reach your right hand up and twist. So straighten your right leg, bend your left leg. Just like you were in cobra pose, you're attempting to pull your ribs forward away from your hips. So drive your right hip bone back, straighten your right leg, pull your left hand towards your legs so that you stretch it forward away from your hip bones. If you want this deeper, bend your right elbow. Try to pull your right elbow onto your back to open up your chest more. Last breath in. Exhale, unravel back to center, switch out. Right hand down. Inhale your left hand up. And same thing, straighten your left leg, bend your right. Pull your chest forward. If you want to go further, bend your left elbow. Pull it onto your back, open your chest. Last inhale. Exhale, release down. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Clean the slate. Shift forward. Go through your flow. All right. From down dog, lift your right leg high. Inhale. On your exhale, bend your leg, stack your hips. So bend the legs first. And then start to lift your right knee up. Now notice as you bend your right leg and lift your knee, the tendency is to collapse into your left shoulder. It makes it a lot easier. Once you bring your left shoulder back in line with your right, press more through both hands. You may even feel your left heel lower, but continue to squeeze your right heel towards your body. So even if your left heel finds space and your leg stretches, how active can you make your right side? On an inhale, come back to 3-legged dog. Right leg straight. On your exhale, bring your right knee to your right tricep. Same side. Try to make contact. Full breath. All right, look to your right hand. Breathe in. On your exhale, step your foot to your hand. Runner's lunge. So your foot's on the outside of your hands. Lower your left knee down. You've got 5 rounds of breath here to get a little warmth. Squeeze your thighs together if you want to activate it, and then pull your chest forward, just like you were in your cobra pose, just like you were in your twist. Notice how far forward your right knee is past your right ankle. Work to stack them up, even if you have to toe your right foot a little further forward. Let the crown of your head drop. Last full breath. And when you're ready to move, tuck your back toes, lift your knee. Inhale back to three-legged dog, right leg high. Bend your legs, stack your hips. This time draw circles with your right knee. Take it one direction. Make that a smooth circle. Even if it's a smaller circle than you want, make that a smooth small circle. And then reverse that, opposite direction. When those are even, come back to down dog, shift back. On a breath in, shift forward to a high plank. Your exhale, chaturanga. Go through the flow, clean the slate. Other side. Breathe in, lift your left leg high. Bend your leg first, then stack your hips. So attempt to get your left hip on top of your right, but notice how far you have to dip into your right shoulder to make that happen. Shoulders stay even, belly drawn in tight so it's supportive. Now try to stretch away. That may change the sensation of the stretch. Take it to a different area, but that's probably good. Be with that stretch. And then inhale back to three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. You try to make contact. You got a full round of breath. Draw your belly in, press the ground away. And look to your hand, breathe in. Exhale, step it to your hand. Lower your right knee down. If you want to stay lifted for an active runner's lunge, feel free. You want to come down onto your elbows because you have space, feel free. Just notice how off-center that makes you or doesn't make you. If you feel a little uneven, either bring something underneath your arms or maybe just stay up on your elbows. Stay up on your palms. You got 3 more rounds of breath in whatever shape you're in. Last one full round of breath to fill up your heart space. Alright, you're ready to transition. Tuck your back toes, lift your knee, inhale to three-legged dog. Bend your leg and stack. This time again, draw your circles. Left knee, one circle in one direction. Make it feel good, and then reverse other direction. Alright, back to downward facing dog. Shift forward to high plank. Chaturanga on your exhale. Alright, breath in, look to the top of your mat. On your exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Pause here in your halfway lift. Alright, so normally you would stop here a little bit earlier. I want you to stop here now. So now you get a little warmth, a little hip opening. I want you to check in with where your hips are supporting here. So draw your belly up and in. I want you to press your feet apart from one another. So turn on the outside of your glutes. Draw your belly in. When at the same time, press your shins forward. So you're driving your heels outward, your shins and your toes forward, so you're lengthening away from your hips. And 2 rounds of breath. Again, notice your shoulders. Can you squeeze them together on your back and then grow your ears forward away from that activation? 1 more breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees. Slowly slide up to stand. 1 last time. All the way up to mountain pose, reach up high. Exhale, Samastahiti, hands to your heart. Now within that first few minutes, acknowledge what your body went through. Acknowledge how you were speaking to your body. And if that's something that needs to change, commit here, commit now in this moment to change. Bringing yourself in the fire so that you can cleanse. You can reform and reshape. Breathe in together. Audible breath out together. Alright, inhale to a chair pose. Reach your hands up, bend your legs, set your hips back. So your chair pose, much like your mountain pose, wrap your thumbs out and your pinkies in. Pull your shoulder blades down into their sockets. Alright, so from here, inhale, lift up to a one-legged mountain pose. So bring your right knee up with you first. You're standing on your left leg. And get a little rooted through your left foot. So first, lift up all 5 toes. press through the big toe mound and the pinky mound of the ball mound of your foot equally. And once you've gotten enough equal pressure there, relax your toes down. So almost as if your toes aren't necessary, you're rooting through the supported area of your foot. From here, take a breath, and then exhale, right leg straight out in front of you. And now straight out in front of you can be straight leg at a diagonal. That's good. Straight out in front of you can be at hip height. I want you to be able to control it though. So squeeze your right glute. Drive your heel forward. You have 2 rounds of breath. Inhale back to one-legged mountain. This time on your exhale, chair with airplane arms. So step your feet together. Sit in your chair. Reach your arms behind you. Take a full round of breath. Squeeze your shoulders together. Still attempting to grow your ears forward away from your shoulders. And then we'll take it to the other side. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Lift your left knee up with you. Hold here. Lift all 5 toes of your right foot off. Press to the big toe and the pinky side edge of your foot. Once those are rooted, let all 5 toes rest down gently. Breathe in. Exhale, left leg straight. And again, maybe that straightens out at a diagonal first, and then you use the strength of your leg to lift. Maybe that leg stays at diagonal the entire time. That's okay. Next, inhale back to one-legged mountain pose. Exhale, chair with airplane arms. Step your feet together, reach your arms back. On an inhale, chair pose, reach back up to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. You get to take your flow to down dog. If you're ready to skip, skip. If you're ready to add on, maybe double chaturangas or floating, add on. Make it yours. All right, take your right leg high from down dog. Breathe in. Exhale, right knee to right tricep. So just like we started, same side. Inhale back to 3-legged dog. Different. Exhale, cross it to your left tricep. Try to make contact. Hold here for a full round of breath. Inhale back to 3-leg. Exhale, low lunge. Step it through to your hands. Let's take it into a warrior 2. Left heel down. Inhale, open up to your second warrior. Feet in opposite directions. Knee on top of your front ankle. And then power into the left back foot. The pinky side edge is where you're driving forward. And then notice as you start to drive forward, your knee is going to get dangerously close to going over your ankle. So you want to keep it behind it while still maintaining pressure there. So as if there's some kind of spring in front of you. You want to press it without allowing it to press you back. And then take 3 rounds of breath here. On your next inhale, reach forward. Right arm extends past your leg. Then exhale, extended side angle. Right hand down, reach your left hand up. Now if extended side angle is enough here, stay here. Otherwise, take it to Utthita arm. So going to get a challenge through your core. Lift your right arm off of your leg, and then float it up towards your ears. And then like you're holding a giant workout ball above your head, squeeze in. At the same time, rotate your left shoulder up and your right shoulder underneath you, your right rib cage underneath you. Take a full breath. And then inhale, reverse. Take your left hand to your leg for this one and press into your leg. The more that you press into your leg, I want you to extend your right rib cage forward. So press into your leg, draw your belly in, press your right rib cage forward. Your right shoulder wants to come up to your ear, pull it down. 2 rounds of breath. And last inhale. And your exhale, low lunge. So windmill your hands down, step to the front of your mat, or rather hands to the front of your mat, and then standing splits. Bend into your left leg, shift forward, and then straighten out your right leg, and then straighten out your left leg as well. Flex your left toes down. Now as if you were putting your left footprint on the back wall, it's going to hold you steady, and then even more so, press your right footprint down into the ground so you lift up your right hip a little higher. Can you still dial your left hip down in line with your right? It's easier to get it higher than your right. Challenge yourself to get them even together. Alright, option here, either step your left foot all the way back and then come into a high plank to go through your vinyasa, all the way back to down dog, or from your standing splits, slow and controlled, jump switch your feet. Left foot forward, right foot back, then step into your plank. So slow transitions to build confidence to get your feet off the ground. And if that was a lot, feel free to skip it. There's no need to take it. Otherwise, I'm going to do it again when we get to here, so you can view and see if it's something that's for you or not. From down dog, lift your left leg high. Breathe in. Exhale, left knee to left tricep. Same side. Inhale, back to 3 left. Exhale, cross it to your right. Again, you get a full round of breath here, but press the ground, squeeze your right glute, and lift your left knee more into your chest. Inhale, back to 3 left. Exhale, low lunge. Warrior 2. Spin your right heel down. Inhale up. And for your second warrior, in the second position that you're in, still try to find power through your arms. They're yearning out away, and then pull your shoulders down. So the more you reach out, the more you're activating muscles, and that tendency gets them to lift up. Can you find this strength without excess tension? 2 more rounds of breath. All right, keep pressing powerfully through your back foot. Inhale, lengthen your left hand forward. Can you pull your left hip bone back as well? Then exhale, extended side angle. And again, either stay here for the full time, opening up your chest by pressing your elbow into your leg, or challenge your core. Lift your elbow off of your leg. Hold this energy between your left and right hand, and rotate your right shoulder back. Lean the back of your head into that supportive shape behind you. Full breath. Inhale, reverse. Right hand to your leg. Again, get the right hand to your leg so you can press to counter this lift. And then stretch out your left side body. That left side body that was just engaged to hold you up and supportive. And last breath in. Exhale, low lunge, both hands down into your standing splits. Bend your right leg, shift forward, float your right foot. And once again, you've got 3 rounds of breath here. Dial your right hip and right pinky bone down, and then press your left foot, drive it into the mat to lengthen your leg and hip. One more breath, feel a stretch through your left leg, power still through your right leg. And then either step back into a lunge and plank to flow, or jump switch your feet so your palms are flat. Jump switch your left foot and your right foot, then step back to plank and flow. If you already have handstand in your practice and that felt like a good spot to go into it, feel free to take it. I know some of y'all are wild cards, so take it and make it yours. All right, next breath in, look forward. Exhale, step or float, top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to a chair pose. Bend your legs, reach your hands up. Exhale, chair with airplane arms, reach them behind you. Take it into one-legged mountain. Inhale, right leg lifts with you. Exhale, right leg straight out in front of you. Inhale, back to one leg. Exhale, chair with airplane arms. Inhale, one-legged, lift your left knee. Exhale, left leg straight in front. Inhale, back to one leg. Exhale, chair with airplane arms. Inhale to chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, chaturanga. Flow yourself to down dog. Right leg high, inhale. Exhale to your right tricep. Inhale back to high. Exhale to your left, let's add on. Inhale back to 3 leg. Exhale to your left tricep, hold, extend your foot, and then inhale to fallen triangle. Get a moment to open up your body. Now if you want more, take your left hand to the back of your neck, squeeze your elbow to your ear. Inhale, lift up your left elbow, rotate your chest up and open. Press through your right foot to open and lift. Last breath. And exhale, both hands down. 3-legged dog, inhale. Exhale, low lunge, step to hands. Inhale, warrior 2, open. Exhale, extended side angle. Full round of breath, option to take OT to arms. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, low lunge, both hands down. Inhale to standing splits. On your exhale, step it back to plank or flow, or jump switch your feet. Try to land silently with control, and flow it to down dog. Breath in. Breath out. Left leg high, inhale. Exhale to your left tricep. Inhale back to high. Exhale to your right. Inhale, 3 leg. Exhale, cross it to your right. Hold, extend your foot, plant on the ground. Inhale to fallen triangle. An option here. Grab behind your neck. Squeeze your elbow to your ear. Inhale, lift your elbow to open up your chest. Press your feet firmly into the ground. Last breath in. Exhale, both hands to the mat. Inhale, 3 leg. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale to warrior 2. Exhale, extended side angle. Full breath, option for Utthita arms. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale to standing split. On your exhale, step back and flow. Maybe jump switch your feet. And then flow. Inhale, upward. Exhale, downward dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Good. Bend your knees here. Look forward. On your exhale, Malasana. Step or hop your feet to the outside edges of your hands. Come into a low yogi squat. Take 5 rounds of breath here. I'm just going to check to make sure everything's still going smooth. Seems as if it is. Beautiful, beautiful. So 5 rounds of breath in yogi squat. Opening up your inner thighs. Lift your chest away from the ground. And then notice if you're able to point your tailbone underneath you or if you feel resisted. Try to come up and then tuck your tailbone underneath. Last 3, 2, last 1. Breathe in, reach your hands forward for more challenge. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale up to a mountain pose. And then exhale, straight arm back bend. Same shape we've been making. Draw your belly and ribs down. Lift your elbows and thumbs up. Inhale to mountain. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a full round of breath. All right, let's add on to that chair pose. Inhale to your chair. Reach your hands up. Sit your hips low. Find some depth. All right, beautiful. All right, from your chair, grab your right thumb into your right hip crease and begin to pull your right hip crease back at the same time that you lengthen your left hand forward. So again, knees stay together, belly drawn up and in. Breathe in, then exhale, twist. Prayer twist. Your left elbow to your right knee. Lower your hips in line with your heart. Palm to palm. Or if you're already feeling some strain in your wrist, turn your left hand into a fist instead. And then press your right palm into your left fist. And then use that to rotate. So like you're wringing out a rag. Draw your belly up and in. Breathe in. Exhale, press into your hands. Scoot your hips back. Twice more in. Lengthen. Exhale, press and rotate. 1 more in. And out. All right, big inhale. Reach up. Straight arm back. Bend up to mountain. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, left thumb to your left hip crease. Pull it back. Reach your right arm forward. Breathe in. Then exhale, prayer twist to the left. Right elbow to left knee. Palm to palm or fist. Belly in. Breathe. Exhale, twist and rotate. Work your hips back. Twice more in. And out. Again in. And out. Next inhale, straight arm back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Use that length. Fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Plant your hands and flow. Hope y'all are digging all these chaturangas because I sure am. Full breath. All right. Let's take on a little more from what we started. Take your right leg high. Breathe in. Exhale, right knee to right tricep. Again, inhale high. Exhale to your left tricep. Inhale back to high. Exhale, cross to your left. Extend, plant your foot. Inhale, fallen triangle. Exhale, both hands down. Keep your feet where they are. All right, shift forward. Lower halfway down. Chaturanga, your arms. Inhale. Exhale, press it back up. 3-legged dog. I'm sure y'all nailed it. Exhale, low lunge. Warrior 1 this time. Left heel down to the ground. And for your warrior 1, pivot your right hip back to start. Before you even lift your hands, draw your belly in. Then lift your fingers, reach them towards your back foot. So can you start to grow forward here? So without the extra weight of your hands in front of you, can you already engage your core to support you with your legs? And then inhale, warrior one. Press through your front foot to lift up. And notice once you're lifted, if your front knee behind, on top of, or in front of your ankle, attempt to stack it directly on top. If it's still behind it, that's okay. Just try to power into it. There may be resistance there that doesn't allow that, but it's the goal for someday. Maybe not today, maybe not next year, someday. Full breath. All right, now for the one that I'm sure you've all been waiting for, take a breath in and reach up. On your exhale, baby back bend. So bend your elbows, squeeze them towards your shoulder, lift your heart. Now notice, if this is the tendency for you to take this bent arm back bend, if you start to feel any strain in your low back, typically that means you've gone past the point that you should. So rather than just trying to crank back, pull your elbows down, draw your belly in, point your tailbone underneath, lift up your heart. Inhale back up to warrior one. Good, and then on your exhale, standing splits. So hands to the ground, shift forward, lift your left knee up, or left foot up rather. Full breath. All right, palms stay on the ground. Pull your left knee in towards your chest. You can bend your right leg. Challenge yourself to get strong through your right leg by lifting your hands off the ground. So just your right leg is supporting you here. On an inhale, one-legged mountain. So where we've already been, but challenge yourself to bring your knee up with you. Exhale, figure four. Left ankle over your right knee. Start to sit into your figure four chair. Press your left knee down. Draw your stomach up away from your legs. And then with a strong, straight spine and your hips extending behind you, work to attempt to touch your elbow and knee to your ankle. If that doesn't happen, feel free to stay up. If you want to take this even further, take your hands down to the ground. Maybe set up for a flying pigeon, or maybe just allow yourself to get a stretch through your left side here. 2 rounds of breath. All right, challenge yourself to stay strong here. Press your left knee down away from you. Press your left foot into your right leg. And then inhale, one-legged mountain pose. That pressure allows you to stay stable as you come up. On your exhale, low lunge, step your left foot all the way to the back of your mat. All right, inhale to a side plank. So roll to your left outer foot. Reach your right hand up. Now step your right foot on top if you want a little more challenge. If you want even more, lift your right foot off your left foot. 2 rounds of breath. Last breath in. Exhale, hands down. Chaturanga. You get to flow back. Skip if you'd like. Full breath in. Full breath out. Left leg high, inhale. Exhale, left knee to left tricep. Again, inhale back to high. Exhale to your right. Inhale, 3 leg. Exhale, cross to your right, extend and plant. Inhale, fall in triangle. Stay for your breath, press the ground away. Exhale, just your hands back to the ground. Shift forward, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga your arms. Bring it back up, 3-legged dog, inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Set up your feet for warrior one left. Right heel to the ground, 45-degree angle. Point your right hip forward, your left hip, press it back. And then reach your hands towards your back foot. Lengthen your chest forward, lift your belly up and in. Then inhale, warrior one. Find the power through your feet. Find the directness of your hips to go forward. And then allow yourself to deepen into your front leg if you have that space. Take a breath here, draw your belly down and in. Exhale, back bend. Draw your elbows to your ribs, lift up your heart. Again, if you feel any pain in your low back, attempt to make that same shape we made earlier. And if you want to skip the back bend with your elbows bent and take the straight arm back bend, you can get just as much support here. Bring your hands back down towards your heart. Breathe in. And then exhale, hands down to the ground into your standing splits. So shift forward, lift your right foot off the ground. 3 rounds of breath to get some straightness through your left leg. And even if that means bend your leg first and then press it into the ground so your left hip lifts. Last full breath. Squeeze your right glute so your heel lifts higher. And then pull your knee into your chest. Bend your left leg. Get light on your fingertips until you don't need them at all. Pull your knee up high into your chest. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Right knee comes up with you. Exhale, figure four. Right ankle over your left knee. Hands to your heart. Sit low. And it's not just this release of your hip once you're in this shape. You're still pressing. You're activating. Driving your right knee away from you to release that hip. But again, it's going to take that activation first. Your leg muscles, they're used basically every day. They're going to be your strongest set of muscles. And therefore, they often take the longest amount of time, the deepest amount of focus. 2 more rounds of breath. And just as powerfully, press your right foot and knee down. And then inhale, lift back up. Keep pressing until you can bring your knee up into your chest. One-legged mountain pose, inhale. On your exhale, low lunge, step it back. Right hand stays down this time. Inhale to your side plank. Then you get to open up. You just figure forward and yourself into an angle. Now can you find the ability to open up? Maybe lift your left leg. Belly drawn in though, strong and supportive. And last inhale. Smile. And exhale to chaturanga and flow. Sometimes you gotta smile before your chaturanga to make it through. Breathe in. Breathe out. Alright, inhale, lift up high onto your tiptoes. Exhale, lower your shins down, child's pose. Like we started, you get 5 breaths here. And just a short break, we're gonna still take it into a little more inversion prep. We'll give all those muscles that you've just been working towards that a moment to rest. Breathe into it. All right. So we're going to take those high plank walk-ups and we're going to transition into kick-ups. So we're going to kick your feet and gently transition from one foot lifted to the opposite foot lifted. I'll walk you through a couple, but we'll take this slow. If you want to take yourself towards a wall for a little bit of safety, a safety catch, feel free to take it to a wall, but trust yourself. You don't have to get up any further than an inch or two, just enough to get your feet off the ground to switch them. So feel free to stay in your child pose as long as you like, otherwise we'll meet in a high plank. From there, just like we started, walk your feet forward, lift your right foot, bend your left leg, and then as finessed as you can, jump switch your feet. Right foot down, and then your left foot switches. And then again, your palms are still flat, shoulders stay stacked over your wrist, jump switch opposite foot. And then start to make this slow transition left and right, and left and right. And then keep this going for 4. For 3, for 2, ooh, losing the glasses, last one. Once you're evened out, step your feet together, ball pose, lower your hips down towards your heels, squeeze everything in, breathe. From there, lower down to a seat, and then all the way onto your back. We're not quite done yet. We're going to keep going. We are getting about towards the 10-minute point. So if you're only signed up in this for an hour, you can start to cool it down here in a bit. But we got to work on some abs before we go anywhere else. They're super important to keep you up through your inversions. So we're going to start with a hollow body. Bring your low back flat into the ground. Bend your knees. Walk your heels in towards your glutes. Again, press your low back down, just like in Cobra when you were flat on your belly. Draw your belly button down and in, so up towards your spine. Reach your hands above your shoulders, and then lift your shoulders off the ground. Now one leg at a time, with your low back still flat into the ground, extend it forward. And then opposite leg. Now if this is enough, you can stay here. If you want to take this further, allow your heels to extend forward. So press them forward. Allow your arms to extend behind you. Breathe. Work to keep your biceps framing your ears. If you're shaking, this means you're doing something right. Breathe here. We're here for 4. For 3. For 2. Last one. Release, hug your knees to chest. Roll left, roll right. Whatever tension that you were just holding in your spine, in your core, let it go. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Each time holding for 5 rounds of breath. Now that's one way to enter it. You can also enter it from just reaching out one leg and the other, reaching your hands, and then lifting up. Belly in tight, squeeze your glutes, flex your toes. Maybe try to lower your heels a little bit lower, but low back stays down. Again, you can't slide your hands underneath it because it's using the ground for support. For 4, 3, 2, breathe deep. Last one. Release, hug knees to chest, wiggle left, wiggle right. We got one more round together, y'all. All right, come back to it. Last time. Legs straight, arms straight. Lift your shoulders, lift your head, belly in, flex your toes, squeeze your glutes. You're here for 4. For 3. For 2. Last one, reach your fingers and toes away from one another. Exhale, release. Hug in. Take it into a bridge pose or maybe supported bridge. Let your heels touch the ground. Press into your feet, lift your hips. Now, this is just going to be a release for your front line. You got to activate your back line to do that. Squeeze your glutes. Tuck your tailbone up and press your heels down to lift your hips. Breathe all the way down into your low belly. In fact, watch your belly rise and fall with your breath. Maintain this connection of your breath to the physical and your mind to the physical. One more full round. All right. Lower down to a seat. We'll go ahead and do it. Hug your knees to your chest. Roll all the way up to your knees and then transition into a high plank. Or rather, transition onto your belly from your knees. No high planks just yet. All right. Just as important as our front line is our back line. It supports everything else as well. So, reach your hands up above your head. If you need to move anything out of the way, go ahead and do that. Bring your forehead down to the ground. Squeeze your glutes. Lift up your right leg. And then lift up your left hand. So you have opposite leg, opposite hand. Now with the ones that are still on the ground, press them down to lift up your opposite hands a little higher. So press your right hand down, your left foot down to lift your opposite leg and hand. Now can you stretch them a little further away from one another? Toes back, hands forward, breathe in. Breathe out. Release and then switch. Right hand lifts, left leg lifts. Now press your opposite hand and foot to the ground and lift your lifted hand and foot a little higher. Draw your belly in, press the ground away, reach your fingers and toes forward and back. Last inhale. Exhale, release. Take one ear cheek to the ground. If you want to bring your arms to a goalpost or a T, let tension in your shoulders go for a moment. Wiggle your hips left and right. All right, last round. Hands out in front of you. This time we're lifting both feet off the ground, both hands off the ground. So this Superman variation, draw your belly up and in. Again, press your hip bones into the mat. Press your pelvis down into the mat, but keep your feet lifted. Belly in, rib cage down and in. Breathe here for 4. Squeeze your shoulders, pull them down for 3. And last 2. Last 1, inhale to lift. Exhale, release down, opposite cheek to the mat. Wiggle your hips left and right. You did it. You worked the core. Let it know what's up. When you're ready, come back to center. Hand under your shoulders, press up to a high plank. Downward facing dog, hips up and back. All right, for this one, just step your right foot in towards your hands, and then wide-legged forward fold. Walk your hands to the left and turn your toes with you. Now breathe in, lengthen forward. So make this flat spine, belly in, but start to spin the inside of your thighs backwards. So begin to rotate your knees towards the inside of your mat and back. And with that, can you start to lengthen your chest a little further forward? And a little counter engagement to open up. And one more breath. And then on your exhale, round your spine and let your forehead fall towards the ground. Let your head get heavy. Shake it yes. Shake it no. Maybe make circles. Let everything else above your shoulders get heavy. Cross your elbows. Let them fall. Two more rounds of breath here. And then come through to center, plant your left hand under your face. Inhale your right hand up. A great place for a block if you'd still like it. You don't have to. Press your feet away from one another and spin your inner thighs in and back. Drag your chest forward. If you want to check in with your sacrum, take your hand to your low back. Can you level out your sacrum with the mat? And then twist from your right shoulder, the middle of your chest and back up. Inhale. Exhale, release and switch. Right hand down, inhale your left hand up. You resist, press your feet, inner thighs back. Maybe take your left hand to your low back, level out your sacrum, twist from your shoulders, from your torso, the middle of your spine, rather than from your hips. Last breath in. Exhale, both hands down, walk them back to the top of your mat. Then step it back to a high plank, lower down to your knees. 3 rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, pull your belly. Exhale, round. And twice more in. And out. One more in. And out. All right. Downward facing dog when you're ready. Hips up and back, wiggle left, wiggle right. All right, one more round before we finish this off. Take your right leg high, breathe in. And exhale, low lunge, step it through to your hands. Good. Inhale to high crescent lunge. First time that we've been here. So we're going to check in with the strength, with the flexibility, with the stability of everything that we created in your right leg. So from here, reach your hands up. Take in a breath in high crescent lunge. On your exhale, warrior 3. Shift forward. Lift your left foot off the ground. Parallel your chest towards the mat. And then fold it forward or bring it forward. If you'd rather have your hands at your heart or hands behind you, more in airplane position, feel free to take that. But again, check in with your low back. Can you pivot your left hip down, your left big toe down, your left pinky toe down? Lengthen your chest away from that stability. Next, inhale back up to one-legged mountain pose. Bring your left knee with you. Exhale, eagle pose. Last time to close it off. So left thigh over your right. Left arm underneath your right. All right. Once you've gotten your arms set up, lift your elbows up in line with your shoulders. If that brings up so much pain that you have to let go of the shape, that's okay. Go for the bear hug instead. Breathe in and reach up. On your exhale, either stay or nest your eagle. Belly in, round your spine, keep your belly up towards your spine as if it's connected completely to it, keeping space between your stomach and your lap. 2 rounds of breath. All right, just as slow as you enter. Inhale to one-legged mountain pose. On your exhale, crescent lunge with airplane arms. So step your left foot back into your footprint. Reach your hands behind you. Inhale to high crescent lunge, stretch up. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Last time, high plank, roll to your left foot. Your last version can maybe be a wild thing if you want to get a little more open, or if you want to take it even further, maybe take it into a straight leg version of side plank. You get to choose wherever you are. Take a breath, and then exhale to flow. Last time on this side. This is the home stretch, y'all. After this, we will literally stretch. Take your left leg high, breathe in. Exhale, low lunge, step it through to your hands. And breath in, a high crescent lunge. Reach up. Find your stability. Again, we've been working into your legs, the length, the power, and the stability of all of it. Let's take it here. Breathe in. Exhale, warrior three, or your version. Lift your right leg. Parallel your chest to the ground. Maybe that means hands to your heart instead. Hands in airplane, just as good. Maybe hands to your low back if that helped you level out your sacrum and hips. Last 2 breaths. And then on your inhale, one-legged mountain pose, right knee comes up with you. Exhale, eagle pose, right leg over, right arm under. There's stability there, so find it your own unique one on this side. Squeeze thigh to help with that. Lift your elbows up, press your palms away. And all together, breathe in. Exhale, nest your eagle. Elbow to your knee, belly drawn up tight. Two breaths. And inhale, unravel. One-legged mountain pose. Exhale, low lunge, step it back. Last one, side plank. You get to choose the version. I like this wild thing version to start off with. Last inhale. Exhale, hands down and flow. Final vinyasa to down dog. Breathe in. Audible breath out. One more time, let your neighbor hear you. Sigh it out. Good. Bring your right leg high. Inhale. Exhale, half pigeon. All right. One of the first times that we'll have time for a full decadent half pigeon. For this one, walk your left knee back. You may already feel a stretch through your right side just walking your knee back. But before you settle in completely, draw your belly up and in. Press the top of your left foot into the ground so your kneecap lifts, and then attempt to slide it a little further back. Maybe even press through your right shin. That's going to help you. Then when you can't get any more space, lean your chest forward, inhale, then exhale, lengthen yourself forward to fold. Let your forehead relax towards the mat. That tension in your neck, tension in your shoulders, let it melt. Check in with your tongue. Is it rooted to the top of your mouth? And if so, let it go. And then breathe deep. Made it out the other side of the fire. And just like when a glass blower puts the glass in fire, it becomes malleable, it becomes moldable. They can turn it into what they need. Your muscles are the same. Where can you add a little bit more pressure, or where can you breathe a little more softness so that you can make your muscles into those shapes that the warmth that you created allows? Take 3 more rounds of breath here. And we're going to take this to a quad stretch version of pigeon, and if you'd rather stay in pigeon rather than get the quad stretch, feel free to stay. If you want the quad stretch, walk your hands in towards your legs, kick your left heel towards your glute. Your right hand will stay on the mat in the middle of your mat for support. reach your left hand back. Before you grab for your foot, just squeeze your heel in. And then once you have the activation of your hamstring, then begin to use your hand to pull it. Again, squeeze your heel to glute. Press your foot down. Breathe into the space you're creating. Last full breath. And with control, gently release your foot. Take both hands down to the ground. Three-legged dog. Draw circles with your right leg, just like we started. Make them big. Make some space and then reverse them. Back to down dog. If you want something in between of vinyasa flow, take it. Otherwise, left leg high, breathe in. Exhale, half pigeon. Knee to your wrist. You can walk your right foot back. Make your space. And then bring your heart down to the ground when you're ready. But notice, are you able to make more space by pressing into the top of your right foot, pressing more into your left shin? So you're sliding your hips and your legs a little further back with pressure. You're right, hands to the ground. And again with that tapas, that heat, it's fire, it's cleansing, but it's also something that we don't typically look to be in. There's a typical aversion to it. So even dedicated yogis who've been practicing for a long time, they can still find this edge that seems like they're unable to get past it. Oftentimes, not always, but often. What it takes is that extra bit of tapas, that few extra rounds of breath in a shape, when your mind keeps saying to stop, but allowing yourself to be in it just as calmly for a little bit longer. Whether that's movement, or like here, stillness. There's just as much strength required for that. Option to stay here, or for your last 5 rounds of breath, take the quad stretch if you do it on the other side. Right heel to glute, and squeeze, use your hamstring first to pull in, then use your hand behind you to assist in pulling it deeper. And you may be able to hook your foot in the crook of your elbow, and then pull that in, but just work here to accentuate your right hip forward. So press your right knee into the ground. Breathe into your right side body. Last full round of breath. And then with control, release your foot. Both hands to the ground. Three-legged dog, left leg high. Last time, draw your circles. Another direction. Back to downward facing dog. From there, walk your feet forward about 6 inches and lower down to your knees. We're going to take it to a camel pose. And this camel pose is going to be an accentuated version of that straight arm back bend. So now your hands are going to be on your back. If you have blocks, they're a great prop here to use between your thighs so that you fully activate your lower abdominals. And again, if you're feeling any pain in your low back, I want you to come up out of the stretch, squeeze your thighs together, tuck your tailbone underneath you, and then try to re-enter. Let's go into it together. Take your hands to your low back, squeeze your elbows, squeeze your shoulders together, and then start to walk your gaze up the wall to the ceiling. Squeeze your glutes, press your hips forward. And the press forward is going to keep them over your knees so that you have the stack to stay supported. Gaze goes up towards the ceiling. And there's still that support behind your back as if someone has their hand just behind your heart. 2 breaths. Squeeze your glutes and then inhale back up to center. Lower your sit bones to the ground. Hands to your lap. 4 rounds of breath. Allow your heart rate to spike if it decides to spike. And breathe stillness, calmness back into it. When you're ready to move, shift to one side, swing your legs out in front of you. All right, we're going to lengthen out the back of your neck. So rather than taking a seated forward fold, come to lying on your back. And if you'd rather take a seated forward fold, by all means, take it. Otherwise, bring your knees into your chest, hands down alongside your hips. Take your legs straight up the wall and then press to lift your hips, plow pose. So bring your feet behind your head, past your line of vision. And if your feet don't quite touch the ground, take your hands to your low back for support. Now, if they are touching the ground, great. Bring your toes to the mat. Press your feet towards the back of your space, like you're flattening your soles of your feet against the wall. And then find a slight tuck of your chin so that you start to physically stretch out the back of your neck. Keep your gaze right up between your legs. Press your shoulders, your elbows rather, down into the ground. And then take 3 rounds of breath. And again, expand your belly completely on your inhale. Empty completely on your exhale. Twice more like that. In and out. One more in and out. Alright, bend your knees, let your hands touch the ground. Slowly unravel one vertebrae at a time. One vertebrae until your tailbone touches last. Now, if you want to use that momentum, we're going to take it into a fish pose. So you can either take your hands down alongside your glutes, roll up to a seat. We'll take it right into fish, or otherwise just bring yourself up into a seat. You don't have to get up there in any fancy way. Once you're in a seat, hands underneath your glutes, bring your elbows to the ground. Point your toes forward, draw your belly up and in, squeeze your glutes, and then start to allow the back of your head to relax towards the ground. So we just closed off the front line, your throat chakra. Here's where we're opening back up. Press your elbows down, belly in. 3 rounds of breath. Your head may be close to the ground, and if so, feel free to straighten out your arms and allow yourself to drop. Otherwise, tuck your chin to your chest, come up to center, and then lower yourself down. Otherwise, straighten your arms. Allow yourself to relax. Pull your right knee in towards your chest. Roll left and right. You can find some centeredness in your shape. And then twist. Bring your right knee across to the left side of your body. As you twist, press your right elbow down. So you're engaging in the opposite side as if to help press you a little closer towards your opposite. 3 rounds of breath here. Inhale through center. Switch out your legs. Left knee in, right leg long. Breathe in, give it a squeeze, maybe movement left and right. When you're ready, twist to the right. And press your left elbow, left shoulder down. One more full breath. Come back through to center. Hug both knees into your chest and then wheel, or rather bridge pose. If you want to wheel, feel free to take it. I'm going to take a supported bridge today. So if you have something to put underneath your back, go for it. Otherwise, press into your heels, lift your hips. Plant something underneath your sacrum if you're taking supported bridge. Otherwise, keep pressing your feet down so your back is engaged to lift your front side. If you're taking wheel pose, set up for your bridge, and then just take your hands behind your head. Palms by your ears, press yourself up to your hands and to your feet. We've got 3 rounds of breath here. Either one that you're in. Again, watch your belly lift on your inhale and empty on your exhale. Twice more. You're ready to transition. Press into your heels, lift your hips. Lower yourself down 1 vertebrae at a time, super slow. Hug your knees to chest. Happy Baby's last pose of class. And your version of Happy Baby is the best version of Happy Baby. So take that version. And that could be, like mine, heels toward your hips. That can be reaching inside of your legs and you're at the outside of your feet. But notice my tailbone is lifted. For me, that's no good. I'm going to keep my heels on the ground or tailbone on the ground. Grab behind your thighs and trust your feet up to the ceiling as well. Just as much movement, just as much openness with a supported low back. Last round of breath. Come to center, hug your knees to your chest, squeeze in, make yourself into a tiny ball, hug your forehead towards your knees. Breath in together. Stay for your exhale. One more big breath in. Exhale, Shavasana. Release, stretch out your legs, stretch out your arms. Let yourself become compressed by gravity. For the next few moments, simply breathe. Remind yourself that you deserve rest. Whatever's crossing your mind has a place and a time, but not necessarily now. Allow it to be put to the side. Time, begin to gently wake up your body. Gently move fingers, toes, wrists and ankles. And move your head in a way that wakes up your neck. And pull your legs back into your chest. Care and control. Roll to one side, whichever side is open for fetal pose. Take your ear and cheek to your bicep as a pillow. And become rested in this pose. Symbolic of the beginning of a journey, beginning of something new. On your time, press up to a seat. Slow, methodical. Cross-legged, facing the top of your mat. Lift your chest up into your thumbs. Gently resist by pressing your thumbs down into your chest. Let your shoulders relax away from your ears. Let this physical representation of your own power, your will, determination, the love that you want to receive, and the love that you want to give. Breathe deep. And from my heart to yours with light and love, we bow and share the words. Namaste. Excellent, excellent work, yogis. Thanks so much for sticking it out with me. We're a little over schedule here, but I think it was great. It's all in good fun, right? I hope you enjoyed. If you're still resting, feel free to stay resting as long as you like. If you did not and have not heard, this is our means of staying afloat right now. We have no other means of income. So if you have the capacity and you enjoyed the class, feel free to donate. We have a link underneath the description here. There's also one going at blackswanyoga.com/live. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Please reach out, feedback. We love hearing your stories about your yoga, your why, and how class felt as well. So again, my name is Jeremy. Thank you so much. Until next time, namaste.